Speaking of the key reason for the decline of Sino-US relations, it is mainly because the United States lacks too much ambition. The United States feels that China's technological development and progress will threaten its hegemony. How it has been trying to contain China, especially in terms of chips. A series of measures taken by the United States have brought a certain blown impact to China. It's just that Chinese companies are very motivated, faced with such a severe situation. Huawei took the initiative and launched a new mobile phone that once again achieved outstanding results. This breakthrough happened to be during Mondo's visit to China, so it has already brought great success to the United States. A great shock in response to this situation. Many Chinese people jokingly said that this is the best gift China has given to Mondo. In fact, before Renault's visit to China, the American media had over-exaggerated the relationship between the two parties and claimed that Mondo would be the last senior American official to visit China. After his visit to China, Mondo must have felt intimidated by Huawei, so he started to counterattack as soon as he returned to the United States. Anyone who knows anything about Mondo should be very aware that her contribution to the previous blockade of China's semiconductor industry was indispensable. Recalling her remarks in public speeches, she actually openly discussed the chip strategy and claimed that the chip strategy adopted by the United States was not actually to meet the needs of self-sufficiency, but to gather the strength of more countries and make full use of it. The allies of the United States control the global semiconductor industry. Only in this way can they defeat China. Although these are just a few simple sentences, in fact, the ambitions of the United States have been exposed long ago. This is why the United States is trying its best to restrict China's technological innovation. It's just that the United States has really underestimated the determination of Chinese companies and their confidence in safeguarding national dignity faced with such threats and blows. Huawei has worked actively and innovated bravely and has achieved good results in the high-tech field, regardless of Mondo. The talks between the two sides during his visit to China went smoothly. In fact, before his visit to China, Mondo had publicly threatened Huawei. This self-righteous attitude really annoyed the Chinese people. She claimed that if Huawei still wants to make certain progress in the high-tech field, it will not only fail to achieve the expected results, but may also suffer more severe sanctions. Thinking about Mondo's proud expression and lofty attitude when he made these remarks, it seems that the United States has achieved a comprehensive victory in this war without gunpowder. Fact, the performance of Huawei's official website has slapped Mondo hard. Just after the talks between the commerce ministers of the two sides, Huawei's official website opened pre-sales for new mobile phones, and the results achieved are quite impressive. The CN letter code on the chip is enough to shut up the United States. He warned Huawei before departure and talked eloquently during the meeting. Now that he thinks about it, Mondo's approach is just a joke. The new mobile phone announced on Huawei's official website is enough to prove that Huawei has broken through the U technology blockade and has made greater progress in chips. Good results are a fact that no country can deny. Probably unable to accept this result, after Mondo returned to the United States, he did not mention any information about Huawei and just complained about China. This is really a typical American style. Seeing this situation, some Chinese people may feel that Mondo, because he has been concentrating on the talks, may not have paid attention to this news at all. In fact, the news of Huawei's pre-sale has already been on the hot search list. The amount of discussion and attention is no less than that of Mondo's visit to China, so this statement is just a way for the Chinese to save face for the United States. Furthermore, the internet is full of news about Huawei breaking through the shackles. Mondo happened to be in China during this period, and it is impossible to know anything about this matter. Therefore, we can boldly guess that Mondo is just deliberately avoiding these topics, but it is precisely this move that makes it obvious. And after returning to the United States, Mondo immediately launched repeated actions. According to media reports, the U.S. government has issued instructions to chip manufacturing giants, requiring them to restrict the export of artificial intelligence chips. However, the target of this restriction is not China, but Middle Eastern countries. It seems that the United States does want to block every avenue of scientific and technological innovation in China, but such hegemonic and barbaric behavior is destined to fail. The more powerful the United States is, the more united China will be. By that time, the United States will once again see real creativity and cohesion. It can only be said that war's behavior this time indeed makes the Chinese people feel very proud. This is not just a coincidence, but also an inevitable one. Since the United States wants to cause trouble for China, China should use all the resources it currently has to improve its industrial chain and persist in independent innovation to the end, maybe based on China's current strength. This road will be very difficult, and we can only move forward in discredit, but for Chinese companies and Chinese people, we will never be defeated by this, and we will definitely achieve outstanding results. In the end, prove yourself. Since the news of Kirin chips returning to the market, the Dutch ASML company announced that it will restart the production of 7nm lithography machines. This news has caused widespread shock in the industry. The return of Kirin chips has undoubtedly injected new vitality into the market, and ASML's actions have been interpreted as their attempt to fill a gap in the market. However, the decision has also raised concerns among some experts who believe it could have unintended consequences. Faced with competition from Kirin chips returning to the market, ASML's restart of 7nm lithography machine production is seen as a way to respond. However, experts believe that this move may cause ASML to lose some market share as competitors are also actively formulating their own technology development plans. In addition, some experts also warn that restarting 7nm lithography machines may bring unexpected consequences, because the current technology development has entered a new era. In response to the fierce competition, when Kirin chips return to the market, various manufacturers have begun to develop various technologies. Market demand continues to grow, and the pace of technological development becomes increasingly rapid. Therefore, behind ASML's restart of 7nm lithography machine production may be an in-depth study of market prospects. However, other manufacturers still need to exercise caution before taking action and avoid risky moves. After all, technological development is a complex process, and only those companies that act cautiously and continuously iterate can stand out in this competition. Market changes and technological developments are a reality that cannot be ignored. Each manufacturer needs to maintain keen insight at all times, understand the changing trends of market demand, and make corresponding adjustments in a timely manner. ASML's decision to restart the production of 7nm lithography machines may be of positive significance to them personally, but in the entire market ecology, requires the cooperation and efforts of many parties to bring longer-term benefits to the market. ASML must have gone through a lot of research and investigation before making this decision. They realize that technology development is constantly iterating and market competition is extremely fierce. Only by keeping up with market demand and technology trends can we maintain a competitive advantage. Therefore, they decided to restart the production of 7nm lithography machines to adapt to market demand. However, ASML companies need to remain vigilant as the market changes and technology develops. Their competitors are also plotting their own technology development plans, which may have a certain impact on ASML's market share. In addition, the consequences of restarting 7nm lithography machines may exceed expectations, because technology development has entered a new era. Different manufacturers are developing a variety of technologies, and they need to face not only competition, but also growing market demand. As the market changes and technology develops, each manufacturer needs to maintain keen insight and the ability to continuously update and iterate. Restarting the production of 7nm lithography machines may be a positive move for ASML, but for the entire market ecology, it requires the cooperation and efforts of many parties to bring longer-term benefits. Market competition is never easy, and every enterprise needs to take market changes and technological developments seriously. Only those companies that continuously iterate and act cautiously can stand out in the fierce competition. For ASML, restarting the production of 7nm lithography machines is an important decision, and it needs to continue to update its technology and products under the pressure of market demand and technology trends. At the same time, other manufacturers also need to remain vigilant in competition, always pay attention to market changes, and adjust their development strategies in a timely manner. In short, behind market competition is the development of technology. Only by keeping up with market demand and technological trends can we remain invincible in the competition. ASML's restart of 7nm lithography machine production is not only a response to market changes, but also an iteration of technological development. It is hoped that all manufacturers can maintain keen observation and flexible action capabilities amidst market changes and technological developments, so as to bring greater development opportunities to the market. Recently, Zhang, the founder of Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing giant, and TSMC, published an article titled "Making Chips by Himself," which caused widespread controversy. He clearly pointed out in the article that mainland China will not be able to manufacture high-end chips in the next 10 years because there is still a huge gap between its industrial strength and technological level and the world's leading manufacturers. This remark caused considerable repercussions in mainland China. Although some people disagree with his views, it is undeniable that mainland China's chip industry is currently facing some difficulties and challenges. First, mainland China's technological level in chip design and production still lags behind that of the United States and other developed countries, although the Chinese government has invested heavily in funds and resources to promote the development of the chip industry. It will take more time and effort to catch up. Second, mainland China also has problems obtaining key materials and equipment, due to the technological monopoly of the United States in the field of chip technology and related equipment. China has been restricted in the purchase of some important materials and equipment. In addition, the U.S. government has also implemented a series of restrictive measures on mainland China's chip companies, increasing the pressure on mainland China in the chip field. However, despite these challenges, the Chinese mainland government and companies are still actively promoting the development of the chip industry. The Chinese government has implemented the Made in China 2025 plan, which aims to achieve leapfrog development of the chip industry through technological innovation and industrial upgrading. In addition, some leading domestic companies are also investing heavily in road and production to improve their technical level and competitiveness. However, in order to achieve a real breakthrough in the chip field, mainland China still needs to face more challenges and difficulties. Only through long-term efforts and sustained investment can it gradually narrow the gap with the world's leading chip companies and achieve independence. The goal is to design and produce high-end chips. In short, the chip industry is of strategic significance on a global scale, and mainland China's efforts and potential cannot be ignored. Although the current strength is limited, we look forward to mainland China achieving more outstanding achievements in the chip field in the future and contributing more to global scientific and technological progress. No matter how high-end a lithography machine is, it is still made by man, not God. We Chinese were very poor in the 1960s and 1970s. At that time, we were able to overcome various difficulties and build 2 stations and 1 satellite. This is the source of our national self-confidence, so I firmly believe that we will be able to build a photolithography machine in the near future. Zhang's remarks have attracted widespread attention around the world, especially in mainland China. Some people think that his remarks are a provocation and even a derogation of mainland China's independent technological development. However, we cannot ignore some of these facts. First, we must understand the challenges currently facing China's chip industry. We must look back at history. Mainland China experienced difficult times in the 1960s and 1970s of the last century, but successfully overcame huge difficulties and completed the historical feat of 2 bombs and 1 satellite. The self-confidence and tenacity of this period have become the source of the development of science and technology in mainland China, and also convince people that mainland China is expected to stand out again in the field of high-end technology in the future. However, unlike that era, modern chip manufacturing has become more complex and sophisticated, requiring more money, talent and resources. Although the Chinese mainland government has invested a lot of investment and resources to support the chip industry, it still requires more time and patience to stand out in international competition. No matter how high-end the lithography machine is, it is also man-made. The mainland Chinese government has taken proactive steps, including formulating the Made in China 2025 plan, to promote the development of the chip industry. This plan aims to improve mainland China's position the chip market through technological innovation and industrial upgrading. At the same time, some leading companies in mainland China are also making unremitting efforts to continuously improve their technological level and competitiveness. To achieve independent design and production of high-end chips, we still need to face tremendous pressure from global technology monopolies and policy restrictions. The U.S.'s monopoly in the field of chip technology and equipment has restricted mainland China's access to key materials and equipment. The U.S. government's restrictive measures on mainland China's chip companies have also increased difficulties. Therefore, although Zhang's remarks have caused some controversy, we cannot ignore the real challenges currently facing mainland China's chip industry. Achieving the goal of independently designing and producing high-end chips requires long-term efforts and sustained investment. Only in this way can mainland China hope to achieve greater breakthroughs in the global chip field. The chip industry is crucial to a country's technological strength and economic development. Although mainland China still has some distance to go in this field, we believe that mainland China will continue to work hard to continuously improve its technological level and make greater contributions to global scientific and technological progress.
Ist die Entwicklung der 300 mm Dünnwafer-Technologie von Infineon.
A more brilliant future. Amid the turmoil in the global chip market, TSMC made a major move to invest $2 billion to build a factory in the United States. This move attracted widespread attention and heated discussions. However, less than 3 months later, a storm broke out. Shockingly, stock investor Warren Buffett suddenly reduced his holdings of nearly 90% of TSMC shares, wiping out more than 180 billion in market value. What's the story behind this incident? First, let's review TSMC's path forward. As the world's largest chip manufacturer, TSMC has been working hard to please the U.S. market in order to obtain more opportunities and resources. In order to revitalize the local chip manufacturing industry, the government passed a chip subsidy bill of more than 52 billion and actively invited companies such as TSMC to invest and supervise factories.
Alle Forschung und Fertigung vernetzt tausende Mitarbeiter. Ihr Ziel?
Decided to invest $1.2 billion to build a 5-nanometer chip factory in the United States, and even invested an additional $4.0 billion to build an advanced 3-nanometer factory. This series of measures is considered to be TSMC's active pro-American performance, subjected by However, there is a lot of consider. First of all, although this government has not actually received this subsidy, which has triggered widespread doubts. Secondly, and most shockingly, Buffett's actions. As a heavyweight in the global investment community, Buffett suddenly reduced most of his shares in TSMC just 3 months after investing in TSMC, causing a sharp decline in TSMC's market value. What is hidden behind this incredible decision? Buffett's reduction in holdings has aroused widespread concern and speculation in the market.
Als Hauptakteur im Silicon Saxony.
Related to the change in the US government strategy. The United States has long been pursuing greater control, especially in the semiconductor field. By inviting chip manufacturers such as TSMC to invest, the United States may just want to take this opportunity to obtain more raw data to support the rise of local companies. Once the United States local companies such as Intel have established strong chip production demands, and TSMC's U.S. customers such as Apple and Qualcomm may also
Sie steigern die Effizienz bei der Erzeugung,
Taken together, TSMC's decision to build a factory in the United States may not be wise. Although it was once welcomed by the U.S. government, the final result was surprising. The United States may only be pursuing its own interests, but TSMC may have neglected its own long-term interests in pursuing a pro-American
Infineon
path.
Technologies.
This incident reflects the complexity and unpredictability of the global chip market. It also reminds us that when facing external pressure,
Möglichen verbesserte Wege der Übertragung und gewährleisten die verlustfreie Umwandlung in nutzbare Energie. In der Industrie reduzieren sie
It is this technical strength that gives them the courage and confidence to impose sanctions on Chinese companies by amending chip export rules. They are trying to suppress Huawei and target China's technology industry. This goal is obvious under the This ban companies such as TSMC, ASML, Nvidia, and AMD cannot freely supply to Chinese companies such as Huawei. This is a major setback for these companies, especially Huawei's important customers. The bill will put huge pressure on its revenue. What's more serious is that this unfair sanction has deeply hurt the hearts of Chinese companies. Take TSMC as an example, as a leader in chip foundry. Huawei was once one of TSMC's
ist nicht nur bezaubernd und lebenswert, es ist auch der innovativste und erfolgreichste Standort.
TSMC was forced to interrupt cooperation with Huawei and announced plans to build a factory in the United States, a move that attracted much attention. What TSMC and other companies insisted that Chinese technology will not be released. The warning from the central media is also a timely reminder that new technologies cannot be bought with money. After recognizing the reality, Chinese technology companies turned their focus to chips. To achieve self-sufficiency in domestically produced chips, after several years of hard work, China has made significant progress. It is reported that throughout last year, Chinese technology companies reduced the number of imported chip orders by a total of 97 billion grams, which means that the self-sufficiency rate of chips is rapidly increasing. The era of chip shortages has passed, and the United States did not expect that Chinese chips would rise so quickly. TSMC has received two major news, which can almost be regarded as a complete showdown. First, start until 2025. The main reason for this delay is that chip supply issues have been alleviated.
Und für künftige Generationen. Unser
Unser Herz schlägt für Hightech und es pulsiert in Dresden. Denn Dresden
TSMC's pro-US plan has not brought positive effects to it, but seems to be a bit of a
für drei der wichtigsten Wachstumsfelder dieser Zeit. Energieeffizienz,
As for the postponement of TSMC's European factory plan, it has a lot to do with the increase in
Infineon
domestic mature
Technologies
process
ist einer
chip
der
production
größten
capacity.
Halbleiterhersteller.
Companies such as SMIC have achieved great success in the mature process
Infineon
chip
Chips
market,
für eine grundlegend verbesserte CO2-Bilanz, ein
personal computers, tablets, artificial intelligence, home appliances
Zukunft
and other fields,
wettbewerbsfähig
which has also
bleibt. Die
reduced
partnerschaftliche
TSMC's financial
Zusammenarbeit
path.
aller
As
Akteure
China's technology continues to develop in the chip field, TSMC is no longer indispensable. In fact, as long as China's chips can achieve self-sufficiency in 20
Sicherheitsstandards. Etwa 2000 hochqualifizierte Mitarbeiterinnen und Mitarbeiter.
American media also pointed out that it is a fact that Chinese companies are no longer willing to buy technology, that people's daily reminder is crucial. Chinese
die Leistung auf ein Maximum. Sie verbessern die Effizienz von Hybridautos
To solve the chip crisis, they can only rely on themselves, just as the
gelöst werden
situation is
können.
gradually becoming clearer. And the global
Ein
semiconductor industry is in chaos, and America's actions are also quietly changing the landscape of the entire industry. This strategic game is no longer limited to technology and markets, but also involves the complex intertwining of international politics and economics.
Ein weltweit führendes Halbleiterunternehmen. Wir liefern Produkte,
The technological leadership gave them the ability to dictate the rules of semiconductors, but it also thrust them into the global spotlight. The impact of this change on the chip companies also caused a series of waves internationally. Looking back on the past, we can see the changes in companies such as Huawei, TSMC, and Nvidia. Huawei has not only increased its independent research and development efforts, but also actively carried out international cooperation and constantly sought alternative solutions. The shelving of TSMC's European factory plans also reflects the turmoil in the global supply chain. which may change the company's strategic trends in the future. Nvidia is looking for new markets and trying to reduce its dependence on orders from Huawei. These changes indicate that the semiconductor industry is undergoing a profound change. The measures taken by Laos and the United States not only harm the interests of enterprises, but also break the original cooperative relationship and exacerbate global instability. And we should also see the resilience and innovation shown by Chinese technology companies when facing difficulties. They no longer rely on external technology, but accelerate independent research and development and continuously improve their core competitiveness. This is also the inevitable result of the rise of a country's
und hat eine führende Position in seinen Zielmärkten. Die Produkte von Infineon
and diversity to the global semiconductor industry. Ultimately, Xiaomi's selfish behavior may affect the balance of the industry to some extent, but it cannot reverse the development trend of the entire industry. The future of the global semiconductor industry will be more diversified, and companies from various countries will seek a balance between survival and development and collaboration and competition. In the global chip manufacturing industry, Taipei Point has played an important role since its establishment. In recent years, TSMC has been caught in the turmoil of the game between China and the United States, causing widespread controversy from Taiwan to the United States, from Huawei to SMIC. One incident is intertwined into a complex story, which contains many hidden considerations such as politics, business, and national strategy. Historically, the differences between TSMC's founder Zhongmou and TSMC's predecessor, Chairman Chang Ru-jing, have become the source of the development of Taiwan's semiconductor industry. Zhang Zhujing founded SMIC in Shanghai because he was dissatisfied with Zhang Zhongmou's refusal to expand TSMC's factory to mainland China. This decision later became a symbol of the country's business competition and strategy.
Wir liefern Halbleiterlösungen für Energieeffizienz, Mobilität.
China's chip industry, but TSMC has only played a shameful role game. Its first move was to terminate its Kirin chip production contract with Zhang.
Ein Hybridfahrzeug oder Hochgeschwindigkeitszug geht nichts ohne Chip.
TSMC left the mainland market and set up a chip manufacturing plant in the United States. However, things did not develop as TSMC expected, but the factory was completed and installed. TSMC began to taste the bitter fruits of American politics. The U.S. government has revised the chip bill and added strict supervision measures, requiring companies to apply for subsidies within the next 10 years, but they must hold no more than 10% of mainland China's mature technologies and no more than 5% of advanced technologies. In addition, companies must share profits, public welfare, and trade secrets with the United States. This series of measures is obviously designed to bring TSMC under the control of the United States. In view of this policy adjustment, TSMC Point has to reconsider its options, investments worth hundreds of millions. Under pressure, TSMC even publicly stated that the mainland market is not important, accounting for less than 10% of revenue. These remarks directly demonstrate the difficulty of compromise that TSMC is forced to make. However, China no longer stands idly by, and the mainland's restrictions on TSMC have begun to rise, which reminds people
Der Stromverbrauch von Antriebssystemen und Serverfarmen erheblich und steigern.
The world's largest chip market, and the investigation into TSMC could lead to a significant decline in its market share in the country. Faced with the country's increasingly aggressive strategy, China is unwilling to leave the face.
Die Automobilindustrie entwickelt mit ihnen Fahrzeuge.
Therefore, the investigation of TSMC is not only a punishment, also an important measure to protect national security and industrial independence. However, the incident also triggered widespread reflection. TSMC's choice highlights the relationship between the commercial and political realities of international competition. As a global chip manufacturer, TSMC faces the interests and pressures of different countries and governments. International competition is not black and white. Although TSMC's choice may cause it to lose the Chinese market to a certain extent, it may also gain help and support in the US market. To TSMC and the entire chip industry, The road ahead will be full of challenges. China's technological independence has become a national strategy, and chips have received more attention as an important support.
Halbleiter und Ideen entwickeln, mit denen einige der dringendsten Fragen dieser Zeit
at an unprecedented rate, an effort that will make international chip competitions more popular. In short, TSMC, as the world's largest chip manufacturer, faces major decisions and challenges in the international game. Their choices not only affect their future, but also reflect the complex relationship between international competition and national strategy in an ever-changing environment. The future of the chip industry is full of changes and opportunities. Only by continuous innovation
Forschung
and
und Entwicklung
independence
in
can
die
we remain
Praxis ein
invincible
und
in this
sorgen
global
dafür, dass
technological
Infineon Dresden auch in